What's going on, people? Got a couple. Well, I don't need that knife yet. Got a couple pairs of shoes here to talk about real quick, right? So you saw the title and maybe the thumbnail, depending on when you're watching this, But the title is like the thing to go by because there's like information in there and the description, I guess, to some extent. But does anybody read those? I put stuff in there because it makes sense to do it, but I don't know. I feel like it's all for nothing. Anyway, so let's see. First up, from Fleet Feet, right? I picked these up while I was out of town back in the great state of Iowa recently, right? So that's where this comes in. I don't know if Fleet Feet is where you are, but it's a running store, right? They have lots of choices for running shoes and all the other stuff that you might need, pants, shirts, whatever. Mostly the shoes, though, socks too. Anyway, so this what's the retail on these? Like 225, right? 225, yeah. So not the cheapest thing in the world, right? But I saw them, I thought that could be cool to have, right? I wasn't looking for these. I was looking for the Ray because that was supposed to come out on the 12th. Couldn't find them, but they had these, and these they don't have a street date of until the 1st, I think it is, right? The 1st of September. But they had them early and they had them on the shelf. So I figured I'm going to try these on, see how that works out. And if things work out fine, I'm going to walk out with them. Here we are. So let's go ahead and jump on into it. This right here, asics megablast in some kind of purple and reddish type of color, right? It's the color that I just put away all those shoes, didn't I? No, I didn't. They're over here. Hold on a second. So maybe you saw, like, did I do the, oh, I haven't done the video. Never mind. You haven't seen this then. So I picked up a singlet a while ago, one of the Metaspeed ones, going off of like the colors that they had introduced for which is this? This would be the sky, right? Because it has the higher thing, or excuse me, the edge. The white parts at the top threw me off. But either way, so yeah, for the edge and like all the other Tokyo release shoes, they were kind of going with like a similar colorway, right? So I do have the edge and the sky because, why choose if you can get both? And so it's kind of a similar sort of colorway that they put on here, just not as big on the red, more so leaning towards the purple. And that's kind of what that singlet was for. They usually do that with a lot of their newer releases. Anyway, so what you got going on here, right, is largely the same thing as you had with the superblast, right? I had the Sonic Blast on my mind because like the guy from Running Etc. was just talking to me about those. So I should be getting those soon-ish, right? Anyway, so very much the same sort of thing, right? It's just that this, and you can kind of see, get that out of the way, down there, Flight Foam Turbo Squared, right? It's their newer foam, as things often are. It's lighter, it's more durable, it's more bouncy. It's all the things that this was, just better, right? That's what they have led me to believe by the way they have worded it on the webpage. I believe them, right? ASICS hasn't steered me wrong yet. Otherwise, as far as other things go, wearing these should feel the same as wearing these. And I say that because the heel height and all that stuff is the same. They're both sitting at a 45, right, in the back, which would be a 37 in the front because it's an 8mm drop. So if that means anything to you, there's that little bit of information. If it doesn't, hey, it's just a bunch of numbers and don't worry about it. And they do have a very different upper, right? So this was kind of like more of a meshy sort of deal. This one feels, I don't know, it feels weird, honestly. It's because it's like kind of, it feels stiff in a way. It's almost not as soft as like what is that from Adidas? The Adios Pro 4. It's almost like that type of thing in some ways, But I do like it's got the little see-through patches on there, and I'm a big fan of like see-through stuff. I don't know why, but that's just a thing that I've gotten into lately. But it's supposed to be like a really nice helper as far as like hugging your feet and still being breathable and all that stuff. So again, I haven't worn these yet as far as like running or anything goes. Actually, I only tried these on for like 20 seconds in the store before I put them back in the box and went to the cash register. But either way, the upper, it felt pretty good to me, so I had no complaints about it, right? Otherwise, everything's very much the same sort of thin tongue with a little bit of branding down there, right? A little bit of a pull tab on the back. The last one had that as well, right? some branding down in there, megablast. So a lot of stuff that you're probably used to. They did switch up the laces though, because these are more like what you see on a lot of the other newer racing shoes, whereas these were just like your standard plain laces, right? So they'll slip around a little bit easier. These will, and these should stay in place a little bit better for you. The one thing I don't like though, jumping over to like the inside, right? So it's got this nice padded sort of thing going on for the sock liner, which is cool. But I don't like the way they did this little extra fabric around the top piece like that. I don't know. It just comes off looking kind of bad. And what was it? The asics was the Kano 31 had that as well, but it looked more. I don't know. It just looked more together. This looks like it's just trash. And then they got rid of it for the 32 and just kind of slimmed it down. It was like you drop some weight. So it's a very minor complaint. It's nothing that I would say is like going to be like a make or break decision. But it's just one of those things where when you look at something, you see something you don't like, and once you put these on and you're running around, like this is going to be the last of your worries, right? It's not going to be on the list anymore. So it doesn't matter until you look at it. So whenever you're taking them off, putting them on, it's kind of one of those things. Otherwise, things are looking pretty all right. Also, one thing weight-wise, right? Because like I was saying, like this foam here, the other thing is this one, they did where is it? See there? They had the Flight Foam Turbo Plus on the top, and I think it was just like Flight Foam Blast on the bottom, right? This time around, they're going all in on like the single foam. So having it just as the one thing, and it's like a light foam in itself, is going to help make these lighter overall. So these come in just over 8 ounces, according to random websites on the internet. 8.1 ounces seems to be about what I was seeing, whereas these were just under 9 at about 8.8. So yeah, they're both super light, right? So it's not like anything really matters at that point to me. Now once you start bringing in the rays or something, like those are going to be like crazy low. But I won't know until asics decides to actually make those available, which hasn't happened yet. But when they do. But yeah, so lightweight, still a nice upper and all that good stuff, right? Should make for some good times. Sizing wise, right? I'm going to slip these on one more time just to, get a quick little refresher on things. But I did buy them true to size. I don't know if you saw that 9.5 on the side of the box. I'm a size 9.5 kind of guy. So that's the size that I bought. And because it worked out fine in the stores. And that was like, walking around and everything. And again, given that they have a very similar build to the Superblast 2, I figure, yeah, if this is feeling fine here, it should feel fine there. And I'll figure that out for sure later, but I don't see things changing, right? So yeah, I went true to size. Like I said, things are feeling all right. I'll grab this one to have something to talk about while I talk about it. Now, it does feel like there is like a little bit of room in the toe box, right? Which is kind of a good thing. Not a whole lot, right? And also, once you get up and move around or whatever, sometimes when things have a higher heel drop, it can make it feel like you're a little more towards the front, sliding towards the front, and makes that feel like even less room up there. But to me, these feel pretty much like the Superblast 2s, right? So for me, like it's going to be fine, I'm sure. But I will say this, it's not like a whole lot of room left to right, It does feel like there's a little bit extra like front to back, more so than, I would normally expect. But hopefully these are around, like easy to try on. But if not, try the Superblast 2 on. To me, they feel pretty similar. So there is that to think about. But yeah, they usually with asics, some of their shoes can be a little hard to get at first, like in stores, that is, right? Because they don't have like the one color. Not everybody orders $225 shoes, I guess. Sometimes you got to go to like a Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that. You're not going to often see them in like Foot Lockers and stuff, right? But once that whole thing gets sorted out, then you should be good. And also, just in case it matters, like right now I'm wearing the Features Elite Ultra Cushion, or light cushion, excuse me. Ultra light, that's what it is. Not the cushion ones. The Features Elite Ultra Light. Yeah, it's I have a lot of different socks, right? So there's a lot of stuff going on in my head there. So I'm wearing those because that's what I would wear when I'm running in these, because I don't need any cushion socks, because these have all the cushion already. So I don't need to double down on it, because there's plenty to go around down here. So yeah, the plan as of right now is that I would like to get a review put together so that I can wear these for this run next weekend. It's the Virginia Beach 10 miler on Sunday. So I would like to break these out for that. That's kind of where my head is right now. But we'll see. I need to see if those actually, you know what? If those Sonic Blasts are available, maybe I'll do that. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But like I'm planning to wear some new shoes next weekend for a run. Like just walk away with that information, which means that whenever you see the review, hopefully it should be like a full one. I should be able to actually talk about it with some sort of experience behind it. Because usually I do these things and then I'll tell you, oh yeah, I'm gonna run around in them, and then like 3 months later, I'm like, yeah, they were great. Who cares by that point? You've already heard that from everybody else, right? So we'll see. Now that I'm all caught up on things, it's going to be a little bit easier because the only reviews I have to do are the Edge, the Sky, and the Megablast. Wait, no, I have something coming in too. The Cumulus 16, but that's not a running shoe. So, well, it is technically speaking, but it's not a shoe I'll be running in. It's just one of the ASICS older running shoes that happen to look really cool. So sometimes, depending on what the shoe is that I'm wearing for the run, I like to wear something else to the event because not everything is so comfortable to walk around in. So that's where stuff like that comes in, you know? Figured, hey, $100 later, why not? Moving on, people. Moving on. If you're into the Jordan stuff, I guess that's something that might be of interest to you. So that says Jordan 12 French blue. I keep wanting to say flu game. I'm going to talk about these for just a moment. Okay. Go get on into this. For the most part, like all the stuff that I buy, I tend to stick to like a lot of the running shoes because for one, I actually put those to use, right? I can pull them out like multiple times a week, do whatever. If it's raining, I pull out some rainy shoes. You know, I get my money's worth out of those. Stuff like this, while I do like the Jordan 12, I know going into it that like I'm rarely gonna wear these. Like there was no real reason for me to buy them, but I like the 12. So whenever they have them and like they look decent, I usually go for them, right? And here's the thing about this, right? I actually have the French blue Jordan 12 already from 16, I think it was. Because I bought them then. I didn't really know how sizing worked back then, right? So I bought them in like a 9.5 or something like that. And they are big, right? Jordan 12s just fit a little big. There's your sizing piece or whatever. So when I saw these come back around, I thought, well, I'll just buy them now again in a 9 so that way they're more comfortable when I wear them once every 3 years. So that's what happened. Finish line was like, hey, here's some random $20 coupon thing to use for whatever your next purchase is. And I saw these and figured, well, I guess that's going to be my next purchase. And here we are. So now that you got the backstory, I'll give you some sort of quick little review on this right here. The Air Jordan 12 Retro in the French blue colorway for 2025. Down across the bottom, that's what's going on down there. I do like this little grid thing they have in the bottom piece, right? It stands out a lot because it's red and black, I guess that is. Seems kind of like weird, but I do like it. It's kind of bold, you know? Anyway, so moving on up here, midsole wise, all that stuff, right? You've seen a Jordan 12 before. They all look very much the same. There's nothing really going on down in there. I like the blue, right? Blue's a color that I'm pretty into. It's not as high as green, right? Green is way up there for me, but this one's doing fine, especially this particular shade. On the inside, a lot of the same stuff, right? Got a little silver tab going on, right? Have that over here too. Rest of the upper and all that good stuff is going to be all leathered out, right? Because that's a thing they do. Doesn't feel like anything too amazing. This one feels better, but this one felt kind of, I don't know, 12, a lot of shoes are like that. The consistency from one to the other, like left to right, or even one pair to another can be weird. Got a little bit of a point down there at the top piece, right? I don't know, that's a thing that I've heard people point out, like people ask, like, does it have it, does it not? I don't know what the significance is. Got a 2-3 going down the center there, right? Little jump man at the top, little jump man on the back, little Jordan thing going on there, you know, little 23, right? And then in the inside, it's probably going to be the same as it was on the outside. Yeah. So you can't see that, can you? Well, take my word for it. It looks very much like this piece. A dark blue with a red. Instead of a 23, though, it's a jump man. So that's what's going on down there, right? So here's the thing, right? I know I may have come off like I was not really big on these in some ways. I will say I do like the visual a lot. It's just that it sucks in a way because it's like I wouldn't mind wearing these more, but they're not super comfortable. Like, because again, I wear a lot of shoes that are made for comfort. These are not. So there's that piece of it. And I kind of just feel a little awkward, anyways, when I wear like high top shoes. I feel like, I don't know, they just feel a little off to me. But again, it's a lot of what I wear on a regular basis that makes me feel that way. So I do like them, right? Don't take it the wrong way. It's just you won't see me in these a whole lot, but it'll be nice to know that I can pull them out whenever I do feel like pulling them out. So got that. And like I said on the sizing things, they do run a bit big to me. Some people agree, some people don't, right? But the Jordan 12s haven't been moving so quickly these days. So if you find yourself at a Finish Line or a Foot Locker, a Champs, a DTLR, one of those things, JD Sports, Jimmy Jazz, right? You should be able to like go ahead, try a pair on, see how you feel about it. Then even if that's not the color you want, then you can at least know for later when you do see a color you want. So that's what I would suggest. No chance in or no point in taking a chance online when stuff is readily available for you, right? It's got some crap on the side of here, right? Anyway, so there's that quick recap before I go getting on out of here, right? Use this one and we will use this one. If you got any questions or whatever, go ahead and leave those down below. They don't have to necessarily be about the shoes or whatever, but this is one of your small windows of which you can use to like ask me things, and then I will respond to you with more words than I generally use in the comment section. Unless you ask something like in the comments that's actually insightful, then sometimes I can get a little wordy, but usually I'm pretty just short and to the point to where it probably comes off rude. Led with these right here. This is the Asics Megablast in some kind of purple and red colorway, right? They will have a wider release on September 1st. So if this is the thing you're looking for, if they're already in your store, local store, they may put them out whenever they receive them. But if you're looking for them online through like the normal channels, September 1st, they're the replacement for the asics Superblast 2. So if you liked those, you should like these that much more because they're that much better. That's why they're called the Megablast over the Superblast. Though honestly, they have a lot of blast shoes, so eventually it's going to get pretty muddy there. Moving along, after that, have this right here, the Jordan 12 in the French blue colorway, right? 205, I think, is what I saw on the web page for these, perhaps. I can't remember exactly. I just know that they were a little pricier than I wanted to pay, but hey, it is what it is, right? So yeah, these are readily available too. From what I saw, they didn't really sell super well or whatever, which means that if you just hold tight and you do want a pair of these, give it a couple weeks. Like, when's Labor Day? Labor Day is coming up. So a lot of stores will have Labor Day sales. Eventually there will be just other Jordans and they'll have to make room on the shelves, physical and digital shelves. So if you got your eye on these, don't pull the trigger just yet would be my suggestion, because I feel like at 200 and whatever, I feel like they're going to sit a little bit. So save a little bit of money, and just kind of hold off a little bit. That would be my suggestion, right? Worst case scenario, you wait and then you missed your opportunity. At the end of the day, they're just shoes. If you miss out on them, whatever, right? You can always just, I guess, get them from the secondary market. Me, I just kind of say whatever, move on, because more stuff is going to come out. I already have other stuff anyway, so none of this truly matters, at least not to me. So I just bring that up to kind of help keep you grounded. You know what I'm saying? So there we go. Nothing's in the comment section, so I kind of appreciate that, because that means I can just move on out of here, go eat some cereal, because I'm a little bit hungry. Actually, one thing real quick before we go. Today, I saw Nobody 2. I don't know if anybody out there was interested in seeing that movie, but I will tell you this. It was very entertaining. It's a short movie, too. It's like an hour and a half long, right? So you're not going to be in the theater all day. Well, you might be in there closer to 2 hours with the previews and stuff, but plan your time accordingly. Anyway, so yeah, it's a pretty standard story, right? A guy, maybe you saw the trailer. A guy goes off to have a little family vacation, gets caught up in some stuff or whatever. Now he has to kill a bunch of people, right? We've all been there, right? Just normal stuff, So he's doing that whole thing, finds a little buddy along the way and all. So yeah, it was a good time. Not too much to think about, visually entertaining, right? Without being dumb or anything like that. And they leave it just open enough to make you think like, oh, maybe there will be a 3, right? I don't know. We'll find out. But again, if you saw the first one and you liked it, I would suggest going and watching the second one. If you haven't seen the first one, you don't really need to, because something like this, you don't really need to know much about the guy. Like from the trailer, you get it, right? He's a dude who kills people for some reason, right? They never really say, well, they do kind of say why, I guess, but they don't really say how he got to where he is so much, like as far as skills and stuff go. They just say that he's trying to pay some debt, right? It's like, okay, that's something, I guess. But anyways, so that's what's going on with that. Also, earlier this week, I did see Ninja Turtles 1, from 1990, and Shin Godzilla, and also something else. What was it? Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Saw that, Yeah, so it's been a busy week for me in the theaters and making time to do some runs. Now we're done. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. 6:30, not too bad. All right, so I'm gonna go do some of the stuff that I said I was gonna go do. Maybe we'll cross paths in the future. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. But for anyone who did pass through and watch any amount of this, I appreciate the time that you gave me. Right? I always do say that I feel like there are better things to do with your time, and I stand by that. But don't take that as me not being appreciative. All right, later, people. Find this button.